Hey everybody, it's Doug here, Doug Mystic Guy, getting ready to bring you another quick play or playthrough, partial playthrough of a new game called Sultaniya. And this is the box right here. It's pretty cool. I really love the artwork, and the theme of it's pretty simple and straightforward, but a lot of fun. I'm going to demonstrate a two-player game for you guys. I hope you enjoy it, and let's just get right into it. So, in a game of Sultaniya, what you're trying to do is you're trying to build a palace for the Sultan so that he will name you the Grand Vizier. And you're going to do that using a number of characters from like the Alibaba type era or genre of stories like Aladdin and Alibaba and Jafar and various other characters. We're going to play in this two-player game and show you how you build a palace. Just and to give you some examples, we have Aladdin's board here. Now Aladdin has some things already. So the first thing you note on every board, you're going to see these, and this show you it shows you the points you get for having certain tiles in place in your palace. For instance, you can see that the dome here, Aladdin already has one of these in his palace, so he's going to automatically already score +3 points. Now if I scroll over to Jafar's board, you can see that while he does have a nice pillar there, but he has a guard and a gemstone. So if you can look at here, the guards give you a various amount of points as well, shown here on the board. And so and you notice that his board is different. They actually score different things differently. For his archways, big entryways or whatever, he gets 6 points, where for Aladdin he gets 6 points for towers. And a certain type of tower, a certain looking tower. So, and you'll see these on the tile. They're very, very self-explanatory once you see the tiles in play. You also note that Jafar gets his 1 point is not for windows like Aladdin. It is for that type of tower, that long tower. So basically, what you're going to do in the game is you're going to have a couple of turns, and I'll just go over. I'm going to play a couple of turns for you, but I'm going to talk about the turns with you. What you're going to do is, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to do a build action. Now in that action, well, it's not the first thing you're going to do. You could take several things within your build action. There's a couple ways you can do that. But in your build action, you're going to lay out these tiles. So let me go up to the tile section here. I'll show you what that looks like. Now I'm going to back up a little bit. This is the other part of the board. I'll show you that. Here you see the tiles. These tiles here are the ground floor. These are the second floor. These are the third floor, and these are the roof tiles. So there's 5 potential levels, including your levels that you have here. And you can see that they're marked in a way that identifies them by color, etc. And you're going to basically on your turn, if there's no tiles out, for instance, or if there's only so many tiles there, you're going to take 3. Or up to 3 rather, and you're going to put them in front of that space. And then you're going to take one, you're going to place it, leaving the other 2 there to be taken by other players. Now a player doesn't have to take one of these other 2. He can pull 3 out, another player could pull 3 out of any stack. Obviously in the beginning we're going to be working on our lower levels because you have to lay tiles in a very specific way. And I'll show you what that looks like as well. But essentially you're going to have these tiles coming down here 3 at a time. And then up on here you see the score track right above. We're starting on 0, goes up to 50, but it's based on having your 5th roof tile placed. That ends the game. And there's these wonderful miniatures. So you can see this here is the blue genie. There are 4 genies on the board, and each of them has a different power that's related to building, and they cost gemstones. So like I showed you, Jafar has started with one of these gemstones. He can actually power one of the genies, the blue genie to be exact. It's a sapphire actually, and basically what happens is that if you empower the genie, you take him over here because there's actually another way of scoring, and that's through some mystery tiles. Which when we get to play, I'll lay one. Each person will get 2 of these, and they have different abilities. They score you different things. One of those things is to score having genies in your area of play. So let's say on his turn he decided he wanted to exercise that. He could spend this sapphire. Jafar could spend the sapphire here. Let me just scroll down here to his board. So he could spend that sapphire that he had, right? Boom. and take the genie. Now the genie is going to allow him to do something else with the tiles. Now this particular genie allows you to basically take these 3 tiles and return them to the bottom of the pile and bring out 3 more, of which you can then take one. So that's pretty effective. It allows you to mix up the tiles, and each of the genies has a different ability. We'll go over that during gameplay, but that's the build phase, and that's really the meat and potato. The meat of the game is you'll be building out your palace. One of the genies allows you to shuffle your rooms around. Another one allows you to there's 4 genies. Like I said, we'll go over them in order as we bring them out to play. And then of course there's your mystery tiles. But I think the best thing to do is just get us started and show you a couple rounds of gameplay. I'll go over the genies as they come out, and if we don't get to them during the gameplay session, I'll talk about what each of their abilities is. Okay, so just covering the board once again with the characters. Each character type. Now you notice these are 2-sided. So this is Anis, the female version, and you notice that her board is slightly different. Looks more like Jafar's, except she gets windows again as opposed to towers. So how they score is each a little bit different. It's going to make them focus on slightly different things on the board while at the same time needing some of the same things. Now tiles themselves also have a way you can place them. For instance, let's just say I have these 2 tiles here, or one of these 2 tiles. Let's say it's this one, for example. This one has a window and a gemstone. It also has a matching border and floor. So we have to place this on the first floor in such a way that makes sense. So I could place this here. Now it can only go out as wide as your secret bonus card will allow you. So if that's his secret bonus card, the bottom floor all the floors can only be that wide. But that's okay. Now, to place on top of that, the other thing you have to do is be able to make like a pyramid or step. It has to be placed. Now, this is obviously not the right tile, but let me see if I can find one that would match. Well, here we go. So it could be, let's say, this one, and that would be a legal move where this would not. Okay, so you have to stagger them that way. Now, if I don't have one there, I can put one there, but I can't put another one here until I filled in this bottom row, and then I could put another one here. And again, they have to line up and match with each other. So see, this one here would not work because of this column here. I would have to have, let's see if I can find one. This would work, for example, because it's just empty space and there's no column. Now, if I had a scenario like this, I could then take this one as well and place it there, and that would give you a matching tile set. So I hope that makes sense. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, so tile placement is absolutely critical, and that's the major part of the game. So we're going to get going. The first thing you do during the game setup after setting up the tiles, is the board, as you see, is we're going to pass out 2 secret objectives, and those are each going to go in these 2 spots, right there and right there. And these are objectives. Now you can play they call a hardcore variant or something, where these are face up and everybody knows what they are for the characters. And that can be pretty harsh, because then you can actually intentionally block somebody. Though I assume if you're a good player, you can probably start to figure out what they could do. So that's the initial setup for Aladdin's board, and that would be the initial setup for Jafar's board right here. Now let's get going with our first turn. Now remember, the couple things. There's really only 3 things you do. You take a build action, you use a genie, or you pass. So if you pass, you get 2 gemstones. So I don't know, again, not having played this but one full round, I don't know how useful passing might be. It might be something you want to do. And using the genies is definitely worth doing. Anyway, the components are really nice in this too. The artwork's fantastic. The genies are cool. They're made of this clear acrylic, so they're pretty neat looking. But anyway, let's get started. I put out as you can see, I put out the secret objectives in the slots that they belong in, and we're going to take a turn for Aladdin first. So here's Aladdin. What we're going to do is he's going to take his first action as a build action and go 1, 2, and 3. Now, okay, so what makes the most sense for Aladdin here with these tiles? obviously he doesn't get any bonuses for those towers, these two long towers. He does need gems, however, and he does get a bonus. You can't see it quite clearly on his board, but he does get a bonus for windows. So if you look at this tile here, that was the first tile that got drawn out, it has both a gemstone and a window in it, which is perfect for him. Also, on his board, he can easily place that here, and it fits perfectly, matching the design on the board and the tiles. So that would be his turn, basically. And in doing that, he would get a gemstone like this, and just place it on his board so that he can use that for summoning genies. So what we probably should have done is note that he's got a 3-point tile here for him. So basically this is going to give him another point. So if we go up to the board, we should have had this set already on the proper, hold on, sorry fellas, let's get that set right there. We should have this set up on the proper number already, but Aladdin started with 3 points, so he got another point for the window. Now Jafar has a guard, but that doesn't really help him until the end of the game. The guards are scored by how many, by the most that somebody has. So, for example, I'll show you how that works in the book. So, yeah, with guards, it's basically plus 9 points to the player with the most guards, 6 for second and 3 for third. So in a 4-player game, the 4th player doesn't get anything, etc. But basically, he doesn't get anything for his guards yet. However, he's got 3 guards in his palace already, where Aladdin has none. So that's a huge advantage. Plus, Jafar started with a gemstone for summoning genies. So, but that was Aladdin's whole turn. So now let's go over to Jafar. Now you can see what I'm talking about here. This is a guard here, there's a guard here, and there's a guard here. So endgame, he's going to have an advantage right now in scoring the guards, which are pretty big points. I mean, if he's got the most, there's plus 9. That's pretty significant. But anyway, for his turn, he's going to do a build as well. And he's actually, the tiles, the one of the things Aladdin could have done is taken a tile that would have blocked him and kept him from getting any additional points, but that seems a little pointless when he needs points himself. Anyway, let's go over to the tiles and we'll see what he does. So taking the build action, obviously he could work on his second floor, and he's looking at this going, I get big points for archways. But he can't place the archway where he wants it, so he might leave that there for now in hopes that he gets another one. And so I think what he's going to do, he knows what the top is here. That's good for Aladdin. If he takes that out and places it, and then takes a tile, that one's Aladdin can immediately jump on that. So he's kind of in a quandary here. He could also build a 3rd level. No, he can't. He doesn't really have a place to do that. He could build a 2nd level. So why doesn't he do that? I think he's not really going to be able to stop Aladdin, but he can get a point himself and a gemstone. So I think he's going to do that. He's going to pop this one out. That's the way it works. And setting up Aladdin to be able to get a good one. And he's going to take this one with the blue gemstone and the tower that scores him points. Now let's go back to his board. Okay, so basically he's going to take this tile and he could put it here. In fact, why don't we do that just to show an example, because it's got a nice archway that matches for him. So he puts that tile there, and what does that do for him? Well, first off, it scores him a point. So I moved his track up to 1 on the track up there, because remember, he gets a point for these types of towers. See, they match. And then, of course, he's also going to get a gemstone, giving him a 2nd one. Now this could allow him to summon a more powerful genie very quickly. So we'll see. And of course, they're just showing you an example. He's got one that, he's got a double whammy here, because he's got one that gives him extra points for guards as one of his secret objectives. So he wants to get guards on the table, that is for sure. And his other one is having genies. So he gets points for having the genies in there. Pretty cool stuff. And if you're curious, if you think those are difficult to read or anything, they're right here on the back of the book. So, for instance, this genie one, it says genies times 2 is plus 2 points per genie or jinn figure that's next to the player's palace, as an example. That's what that one does. Okay, so that would be Jafar's turn, and then we go back to Aladdin. Now, Aladdin could be bolder and maybe take out some upper tiles, maybe mess with Jafar in getting his archway, which scores in points. But he sees that he's got a nice 3-point tile for himself right here. So what will happen is he'll fill this out to 3 again, pulling that one out. That's all it does. And then he's going to take this one, and I think he'll place it out here as well. That's as far out as his bottom floor can go, but he's going to place that there. And that will give him another 3 points on the board. So that puts him up to 7 right now, where Jafar is looking miserable at 2, or 1, but he's got those guards and that guard bonus. Now Aladdin's bonuses are he gets a bonus for guards as well. Nice. And then he also gets a bonus for gems. Ooh, okay. So we know what he's got to be doing. He's got to be collecting gems and guards as well. So yeah, it kind of puts them at odds, and they don't even know it. That's kind of neat, a neat aspect of the game. But that would be his turn, and so let's go to Jafar. So Jafar has his 2 crystals, and remember, he gets a bonus at the end of the game if he has one of the genies in front of him, the jinn. So he might actually pull the blue jinn, and what that allows him to do, I'll show you. So Jafar will spend one of his 2 gemstones to beg a favor from the blue jinn, and that will go next to his board. And then he will exercise its ability. So what does that do? Well, it allows him to take both these tiles. See, here's what he sees. He goes, well, these 2 tiles here, they help Aladdin. Well, they don't really. Actually, it helps him. Maybe he wouldn't do that. But let me think about that for just a moment. We're going to change that. That wouldn't have been a good move for him. We're going to put this genie back. And the one that he really wants is the green one. So if that genie cost him 2 gems instead of 1, so he would have had to spend both his gems, and he would have grabbed this fellow here. Now what that guy says, and it says, for 2 sapphires the player can build twice on their turn. They can thus reveal tiles from 2 different piles, and then choose 2 piles from among those all exposed and place them in their palace, following your construction rules, as previously explained. So I think he would do that, but let me think about the tiles that he would pull. Now, one of the rules about using the jinn to build tiles is if you pull tiles that have sapphires on them, you don't get to take them. So that kind of complicates what he would do. But I think definitely one of the things he would do is he would expose this pile, so because he sees something that's advantageous to him there. And there's another one with guards there as well. And let's see, maybe he'll expose another one here, since he has, now he gets to build from either of these. He gets the points, the victory points, but he doesn't get the bonus. So I think he's going to take this one. He's going to have a camel hanging out in his, oh, he can't actually. Here, I'll show you why. So this one had an archway, so he couldn't take this one because it wouldn't, or not that one rather, but this one, because it wouldn't work. And he can't go any farther on this side. So maybe we'll start with what he can do, and this would hurt. This wouldn't help him necessarily, but it would impact Aladdin. Is since he's going to build 2, he could build this one and remove the ability for Aladdin to get a window. Why don't he does that? We're just a test game, so we'll do that. Now the reason he had to do that is because it had to line up, so that had to happen there. And so that allowed him to place there, and Aladdin goes, "Oh, you dirty dog." The other one that he has that is really valuable for him is this one. This tile, actually, 2 of the tiles here are good for him. This one's really good too. Now, keep in mind, he can't build this one. Well, he can build it. He can build it over here, which might be what he wants to do, because remember, he gets points, 6 points for that, if he can pull that off. So obviously that's a no-brainer for him. He's going to build this, and he's going to build it right there. You can see how it nicely matches up and gives him another location. Now, he did not get any points from this tile, and he didn't put a tile with a gemstone, because that would have been a waste, but he did get 6 points for building his tower there, or his archway. So that puts him up to 7 as well. So he quickly tied with Aladdin up on the board. So going back to Aladdin's turn, Jafar did do him a favor, because he left up on the board here with the tiles a good one for him. So he's going to take this second level one and put out this 2 gemstone, and it has awesome Actually, you think about it, that's a pretty good tile for Jafar as well. But Aladdin's going to take this one and place it right here. See, that's got another dome on it, so that's going to score him another 3 points. So that puts him up to 10. That was a quick jump for Aladdin, and that again, of course, ends his turn. He didn't get any gemstones for that because there weren't any on the tile. Well, let's go back to Jafar. So Jafar has his one jinn with him, and that's pretty cool. But really, what he needs to do is continue to build out his floors. Now he's got a couple of good. He's got a couple of good tiles out there. One of them is really good, and I know which one he wants to take. So let's go look at the tiles and see what it's going to be. So now remember, you always put out 3 tiles. So we're going to drop this one to the bottom here, and he's going to take this one. And then he's going to place that one right here, which is a legal placement, I believe. I'm going to have to look at there because that archway below it might cause a problem, but I don't believe so. In looking at it, no, that does not cause a problem. That is fine. So he can do that without any problem at all. And that's going to not only score him a point for the tower there, putting him up to 8, but it's also going to give him back his 2 gemstones that he had lost earlier. So you can see that his let me go back to here to show you more clearly. So his palace is building up quite nicely. So he's got his tower and his 2 gemstones, and I gave him his 2 gemstones back there. And he's got one of the genies. So he knows he needs more, but he doesn't want to make it so obvious that he's trying to collect them. Now, if Aladdin decides to summon that same genie, he will take it over to his board. But currently, Aladdin only has one sapphire, so he can only summon the one genie that can be summoned with 1 sapphire. So let's go back to Aladdin. Now remember, Aladdin has a secret bonus for guards too. So I think as we look at the board and we see how this middle tile stacked up here, he's going to take from there. Oh man, look at that with those windows and everything. He's going to take this one and place it. Let me go back to his board now. He's going to place it right here because see the 2 columns match up, and that's going to give him a guard. So his second level is starting to build up rather nicely, and that would end his turn. And next we would have good old Jafar. So one of the things that is interesting about this game is it does kind of give you some obvious choices. There's some pretty obvious choices for Jafar, in so much as he's got some tile areas he could definitely build out. So let's go back to the tiles and see. Okay, well, he does have a nicely built out second story that he could start to add on to, but if you look here, he's already got some tiles that are going to help him, at least with some small points, where this one, it'll give him a gemstone, but it's an unknown. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to pull from here, boom, and now he's got 2 tiles that will benefit him. And the first one he's going to take is going to be this one. So going back over to his board here, this is a level 1 tile, or first floor tile rather. So he's going to put that right here, and that's going to score him another point. Now he's only 1 behind Aladdin in the point scoring. So he's doing pretty good there. Okay, so Aladdin, if you look at his board and what he has up here, man, he'd really want this lintel, this opening here, but the way his board is laid out right now, he can't really take that. In fact, there's not a whole lot that he can take that gives him a benefit. So I think what he's going to do is, since he has some space up in his 3rd floor, we're going to move over to the 3rd floor tile, and we're going to draw our first 3 tiles from there. And as you can see, the middle one here is quite helpful to him. Now, placement, he's going to take that one as his build action. Now when we go back to his board, you can see the top of his board here. Remember how they have to be placed. They have to be placed in a way that makes a pyramid or in between, so he could do that. That would be a fair deal, and that would not only give him another gem, but it would give him another point, putting him up to 11 because of the window. So that's pretty cool. And also, like I said, he would get another gemstone from that as well. So play continues this way until you build the roof, and you get 5 tiles on your roof. That is the entirety of the game. Now again, you can summon the genies, and I said I'd go over their powers with you, so I will. We'll just look at the book here and see. So if you look at if you look at the blue djinn here, he's the one that allows you to bury the 3 tiles that are, or the tiles that are exposed face up, and put them on the bottom and redraw 3 more and build one. The red genie, which is one we didn't take, says you can move a tile in your palace to another free space. Now remember, it has to be a free space in their palace, or you can return to the bottom of the corresponding pile. So you could actually put it back. Now obviously, if you got a point scoring tile, you don't want to do that, but you may want to put back another one, or one that you had to take to make up something else earlier that you don't need anymore. Additionally, you have the green one, which requires 2 gems as well, and for that's the one that our Jafar took, so that he could build two sections of his palace at the same time. And then the big whopping yellow djinn, he requires 3 sapphires, but he can look at the tiles in an entire pile. He chooses one, and then he places it in his palace. Now again, he doesn't get gemstones for it, so you got to be careful about that, following the construction rules. But then he returns all the stack to the table in the same order, so he actually knows the order and what's going to come out next from that stack of the stacks of tiles. And these are the sets of tiles for the 2-player game. The stacks are bigger in a 3- and 4-player game, and there's a bit more variety. Like the lintel that went over, for example, the lintel that went over Jafar's doorway there. There's only 2 of them, I believe, in this stack right here. There's a couple of these with this openings, but there's only 2 lintels, I believe. Yeah, there's only 2 of them. So if he doesn't get them, he's going to miss scoring a ton of points, and that would be bad. But anyway, that's Sultaniya rather, and it's a cool little game. It's very fast. It doesn't take a long time to play. Your decisions are very quick, and there are a lot of other characters. And again, when I first looked at the characters, I was like, oh, they're just the same guys, but they're not. It's really neat. Like, for instance, Sinbad here, he scores a point for towers and palm trees, and you see that on the tiles there are some out of there right now. Then he gets these pointy minaret towers, and then also the guards, like everyone else. On his flip side, you have Sherazad, and she gets 1 for windows. She gets 3 for the palm trees, 6 for the minarets, and then guards. So you can see that they have different objectives, but then with the secret objectives added in, they kind of blend together. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little demonstration playthrough, quick play, just to give you an idea of how to play Sultaniya. Very good game. In my estimation, I think it'd be a lot of fun to play. No strategic value to get into without being too deep. One of those games you can sit down and by the way, it's a 45-minute game. So typically with 4 players, you're not going to be going much over that once everybody knows how to play. I don't really see any analysis paralysis in staring at where to put your tile. It's pretty obvious, so that's a good thing. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll get this up to you guys so you can see what this game looks like. And if you want to see more or know more about this game, please write me and let me know. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Guys, one more thing I did want to say about the game is guys, I like good storage. This is another game with well-designed, well-thought-out storage. It holds all the 2-player tiles up here. Then down here in the bottom are the 3- and 4-player tiles, the mystery tiles, the tokens, and the genies up here, with the gemstones right there, and everything else fits nicely on top. Also, what I didn't mention is these tiles are 2-sided. So if, for instance, you have one with this door and it's not in the best fitting place, you can flip it over to give you the door on the other side. Basically, it's a reverse of the tile. So anyway, just wanted to cap it off with that. So thanks for watching again, and talk to you soon. Hey everybody, it's Doug here again. Doug Mystic on Board Game Geek. You may be watching this at the end of another video, or at the beginning, or just by itself. Anyway, would you like to win some games, or get some games, or these games actually? I'm going to give away sealed copies of a really neat little game, The Builders. You've probably seen this highlighted a couple times. I may actually do a little quick video on this one. The game Aton by Queen Games. Shrink wrap, still sealed. And Munchkin, The Good, the Bad, and the Munchkin. Steve Jackson games. So, if you want to win, I'm going to give away this whole bundle. And all you have to do is subscribe. So if you are a subscriber to my YouTube channel in some time in the last week of June, I'm going to randomly go through my subscribers and pick somebody, and they're going to get this whole bundle. Now, the only thing I would ask is, guys, I do this for free, so I'm not making any money on this, but I'm going to give these games away. If you do live outside the United States, I may ask you to pay for shipping, whatever the shipping costs. I'm not going to charge extra for the shipping, but if you don't mind, I will include that in the caveats. So, in the last week of June 2014, in case you're watching this video 8 years from now, I will be giving away these 3 games, and all you have to do is be a subscriber. Now, added bonus, if you give me some comments on what games you'd like me to play, I will take those into consideration as well. So, that may bubble you to the top of the person I picked to win this selection of games. I will do it as randomly as possible, but anyway, someone's going to get this, so I hope you subscribe and enjoy the videos. And by the way, these are some great little games, especially the builders. I like that one in particular. But hope to see you soon, and talk to you later.